So Tisha B'Av is over, and now Shabbat Nachamu, Baruch Hashem. We had, and we are going with full speed to the one of the happiest days of the Jewish calendar, the 15 days of the month of Av. The Gemara in Masechet Ta'anit, the end of Masechet Ta'anit says the following: Amar Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel, Lo hayu yamim tovim liYisrael כ15 באב וכיום הכיפורים. In the Jewish calendar we are going to have two very happy days, Yom Kippur and the 15 days of Av, which is going to be this week, this coming Tuesday night, Be'ezrat Hashem, Wednesday. אומרת הגמרא, בשלמה יום כיפור משום דייש בסליחה ומחילה. Yom Kippur is a day of Hashem is opening 13 huge polysos vacuum cleaner, and for 24 hours on Yom Kippur all the sins are going to be taking, and there is a clear, after Yom Kippur people feel so pure. They have 1 year in time to make averot and mitzvot, B'ezrat Hashem too. But the purification of Yom Kippur make people to feel good. נכון? אז הוא אומר, בשלמה יום כיפור משום דאית בסליחה ומחילה, and is the day that Moshe Rabbeinu came with the second luchot, with the tank, the second time he came from Yom Kippur. But what happened in Tu B'Av, so important? It's a regular day, it's not a holiday. We're going to go to work, hopefully, B'ezrat Hashem. And we're going to go to the bank, and we're going to use the car and the telephone. So what's so special in this coming Wednesday? אומרת הגמרא, דאמר רב יהודה אמר שמואל, it is the day that all the time in the history something would happen. And they give a whole list of all kinds of good events that took place on Tu B'Av. One of them is at the beginning, when Am Yisrael was divided to tribes before they came to Israel, it was a big issue not to get married out of the tribe. We don't want to change nachalot, real estate. Oh, pul begona nesheva. It's a very common thing in the Bukharian, even until today. But there was a time that in Tu B'Av they say, you know what? Am Yisrael is one, no tribes anymore, everybody can marry with each other. We came from a tribunal level to a national level. Another one, Rabbi Yosef say, there was a very sad history when Jews came to Israel. Shevet Binyamin, the tribe of Binyamin, committed the first homicide in Israel. And all the 11 tribes boycott Shevet Binyamin, and nobody was allowed to get married with them. And on Tu B'Av, the decree was removed. אומרת הגמרא, another event, אמר רבי יוחנן, that the dead people in the desert stopped to die in the 15th day of Av. And then there is another, after Shlomo HaMelech died, King Solomon died, his son Rechavam had an opponent by the name Yerovam, and they created another state, the state of Yehuda, that the capital was Yerushalayim, and the state of Israel that was in the north side, which the city was Shomron, or Tirzah, all kinds of cities over there. And Yerovam ben Nevat, he put the fence and boundary that nobody should go to Jerusalem. And he created a whole temple in his place, and he separated. After many years, in the time of Hoshea ben Elah, he opened the gates. In which day the gates were opened miraculously? Tu B'Av. After many years. And not before the destruction of the temple, but at least something would happen, so it has to come to Tu B'Av. And then Amar Rav Matana, another thing that happened in Tu B'Av. Thank God when we say Birkat Hamazon has 4 parts. Number 1, Moshe Rabbeinu, he made it on the 14 days of Iyar. Then Yehoshua on Sivan when they enter Israel. And then David HaMelech when they build Bet HaMikdash, Zayin Tishrei, I believe. And the 4th one that we say, Atov U'etiv Lanu, Mitiv Lanu, Etiv Lanu, it was composed on Tu B'Av. Why? Because there was a miracle. The time was about 60 years after the destruction of Bet HaMikdash. 52 years after the destruction, the last city of Beitar was destroyed, and the evil king closed the city. He didn't give permission to bury the people. So imagine after 7 years of no burying, and sun and moon and snow and rain and heat, what would happen to the bodies? Should be already nothing would left from this. And when after 7 years they gave permission to open the gate of Beitar, which day it was? Tu B'Av. And when they opened the gate, they were surprised to see that the dead bodies, nothing happened to them. They stayed like this for 7 years, like they died an hour ago. This is what we call. So, and then they made the bracha, Tov HaMetiv, we say the Birkat Hamazon, and we spoke about it a few times in the past. We will not talk about it today. But again, it's something good that happened. It has to happen in this day. So, we just left to Tisha B'Av, Baruch Hashem, and now we are in Tu B'Av. I would like to walk through this with you, try to learn what is the significance of Tu B'Av and why it's so important, and why it's close to Tisha B'Av after a few days, and why it's so important. And I'm going to do it with your permission by telling you about one of a very special rabbi that lived in the time of the destruction of the temple, before and after. Very special individual. He was very respected. He lived many years, even though he was very sick. And his name was Rabbi Tzadok. Rabbi Tzadok, he was, we call him the first generation of the Tanaim. And the Gemara says in Masechet Gitin that the rabbi, the head of the rabbis in the time of the destruction of Bet HaMikdash, the second one, what was his name? Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai. Who was his teacher? Hillel HaZaken. Remember, he was the number 70 or number 80 in the students of Hillel HaZaken. He had few students. One of them, Rabbi Yehoshua, Rabbi Eliezer HaGadol. And one of the students of Rabbi Eliezer HaGadol was Rabbi Akiva. So this is the time that we are there. And Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai is in Yerushalayim, and he understands that Yerushalayim doesn't go to the right direction. In Yerushalayim was a rabbi, as I told Rabbi Tzadok, that when he saw the destruction that is going to come, he couldn't speak to nobody listened already, so he decided to fast. and he was fasting for 40 years. Doesn't eat daytime, just at the night time. Until he became so skinny and so dangerous that if he would eat something, they're going to see the way that the food goes, how skinny he became and how sick he became. So the Gemara says that Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, he understands that the destruction is inevitable. Around Jerusalem there is a siege. Inside Jerusalem, Jewish groups are fighting with each other. And one of the groups over there, where the nephew of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai was the head of them. No, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. So, אומרת הגמרא, Abba Sikra, his name was Abba Sikra, which means in Bukharian Abu Yisur. Abba Sikra, he was Resh Biryonim, he was the head of the mafia, one of the mafia, and he was in charge of the gates. Who comes, who goes out and in. Tamozhnik. And he was Barach Hateh de Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. It means he was Taroi, uncle. So he called him, he said, come to speak to me, Jonathan Rosh, so it has to come at night because nobody should cheat, come and speak to the rabbi, because he is the head of the opposition. So he told him, Ad matai avaditu achi vekatlinu lele alma bekafna. He said, how long you're going to fight, and you see that people are dying already in hunger, why you don't put end to it? It's the end of the story. Why you are fighting so much? He told him, see the way the terror works. Ma yevid diyamina lehu midi katluli. He is the head of them. He said, if I'm going to say something, they're going to kill me too. It means they don't listen to nobody. Everybody becomes very wild. He is the head of them, and he is afraid of them. When you deal with terror groups, their worst enemies themselves. Because every day there's another one who wants to be even a bigger one and a better one. So Rabbi Yochanan told him, I might have a chance to go outside and to speak to the general and maybe convince him to do something. Amar lo, so give you an advice. The only way we're allowed to let people out of Yerushalayim is dead bodies. Make a rumor that the Rabbi Yochanan passed away, he's very sick, and you're going to make a whole funeral. And when you're going to come to the gate, I'm going to let you go without checking it. So, but he told him when a dead person is, after he's dead, is heavier, so put under the coffin, put few bricks to make it heavier. So Rabbi Yochanan called two of his students. Who are they? Rabbi Eliezer HaGadol and Rabbi Yehoshua. By the way, all the Gemara, they're arguing with each other. These two rabbis. After he passed away. All the Gemara. There was even a case that I told you last week that even there was fighting until God told to Rabbi Yehoshua, be quiet, he's Rabbi Eliezer, and he told HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I don't want nobody to interrupt now, the rabbis are fighting now. And Hashem told him, you're right, and Eliyahu Navi said Hashem was so happy with the answer. So these two were chosen, interesting, to be inside of this story. So Rabbi Elazar holds him from one side, the coffin, and Rabbi Yehoshua from the other side, and now they are making like a funeral that is not a real one. We have Kudush Duzi, do you have what that is? That is. So When they came to the gate, they say, we respect you, everything is okay, but we have a law. We have to use a fork, and we have to check that
he's really dead.
That he's really dead. This was their rules. So he came, his nephew, and he say, no, he's a rabbi. You cannot touch him. You have to respect him. And he was helping. They say, okay, and they let him go. Then he met the general, and he gives him all kinds of word of wisdom. And then, if you want to buy somebody in the power, you give him all kinds of 2 or 3 miracles, and he become your friend. So Rabbi Yochanan came and said, I came to tell you the good news, that they appointed you in Rome to be the head of the city, the head of the state, the head of the empire. And a few minutes came, and they come to tell him the news. So because he gave him the good news, he felt now obligated. Now he's telling him he was testing me another test, just for the interest I will tell you. When he was talking to the rabbi to show how it was important, he was wearing his shoes. So he wear one shoes, and when he got the good news, he couldn't wear the other. So he asked the rabbi, how can you explain it? So he said, you heard good news, you feel good now. So the body became wider. So we told him, how can I take it? He said, think that in a certain time they're going to take your head off because somebody else will going to come, and it came back to its proportion. So he put him back to. So then the king understood that he's talking to somebody very special. So we told him, how can I help you? And now Rabbi Yochanan has a big debate. Can you ask Yerushalayim?
Yes.
Or not? So there are a few midrashim over here, but the Gemara says over here that he says, if I'm going to ask all Yerushalayim after the siege and all the problems, he might tell me, no, go. Better you ask minimum. So I ask you that to take all the Talmidei Chachamim to move out to the north, and I want you to bring a doctor to heal Rabbi Tzadok that I told you about him. And I want that the head of the community will go back to Rabban Gamliel, to the Hillel dynasty. And he told him, you have it. The Gemara says over here that Rabbi Akiva told him, Meshiv Chachamim Machor. Rabbi Akiva told him afterwards, if I was there, I would tell you, you made a mistake. If he's in a good mood, you could ask more. But he says, sometimes if you ask too much, you can get nothing. So we say, better get. And then they were healing Rabbi Tzadok, and the older group of the yeshiva in Yerushalayim was able to move under the protection of the Romans to the north of Israel. Slowly they will go to the north. Eventually they went to the north, but to Yavne, which is a city out of Yerushalayim, and to build over there the Beit HaMidrash that was the place that all the Mishnah was written after that was slowly was composed until they went to the north. It was many destinations of the Sanhedrin. They went from here to there, from here to there. But the first was Yavne. And the Torah doesn't call it Yavne, they call it Kerem B'Yavne. Why it's important to Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai to ask for one individual when so many people are dying in the streets?
So everything was stable because of him?
Huh?
Everybody was...
Yeah, but after Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai understood that it's going to be distracted, what is holding him? So, I told you, I'm going to say briefly, I told you, and on Tisha B'Av we spoke about it, we're going to link it over here, The Gemara says an interesting story in Masechet Yoma about the second temple. I'll tell you briefly. I hope you know the story before. I'm sure you heard it. There were two Kohanim coming to Beit HaMikdash to go to work. And somebody needed help on the Mizbeach, on the altar. And on the way to the altar, there is a ramp that you have to go. So he say, I need help. So two young Kohanim were going on the altar in order to help. And one tell to each other, this is my mitzvah. And he say, no, it's my mitzvah. You know, Kohanim are very devoted. So he say, it's my mitzvah. He say, it's my mitzvah. So the Kohanim had a knife that they used to for shchita. So one took the knife and stabbed his friend. He say, it's my mitzvah. Hashem Shamayim, of course. No? He's doing a mitzvah, Rabotai. So he's falling down, and he went to Beit HaMikdash. Everybody is panicking. In Beit HaMikdash in Yerushalayim, a murderer, for what? For what? For mitzvah. Amad Rabbi Tzadok, suddenly Rabbi Tzadok is there in Beit HaMikdash, and he told to them, Achenu Beit Israel Shimu, listen, if we find a dead person outside the city, we have to bring a korban. How it's called? Egla Arufa. Certain korban. But over here, which korban you can bring? Al Ha'ir or Al Ha'azara? The city of Yerushalayim or the Kohanim of Yerushalayim? Who is responsible for this? Everybody start to cry. Do you know how to explain it? Don't get quiet. It happened many years ago. Then the Gemara continues to explain how far away it went, this tragic way. The father of this Kohen who was dying, who was very sick, they told him, your son is sick, your son is wounded. And he ran and he came inside to the Mizbeach, and he saw his son that he is lying on the ground and is bleeding. And he said that what a person should do now? No? Get help, נכון? 911, הצלה, קם, תעזרו לי, מוישה, בוא תעזור, נכון? He said, אומרת הגמרא, he said, oh, my son is still breathing, and the knife is still stabbed. Take the knife quickly because we don't want the knife to get tameh. This is what he was worried about, that the knife should not get tameh. ללמדך אומרת הגמרא שקשה עליהם טהרת כלים יותר משפיכות דמים. He could die, what can I do? But the knife should be kosher. You understand? Everybody is tzaddikim. He wants to do mitzvah. You bother him, so you kill him. What's the big deal? And instead of calling Atzala to save his own child, he said, no. Let's save the knife first.
So this is tzaddikim, Kohanim.
This is tzaddikim and Kohanim. This is why the Gemara is talking about over here, about to understand what was the problem in the second temple. And before we continue, I would like to try to connect it. Unfortunately, we had to go to two tragedies in the same day of Tisha B'Av, in about 500 years difference. The first temple and the second temple. What was the first temple problem? What? What is the idea of the first temple problem? Who can tell me what is the general problem of the first temple? Think about it. What?
Between us and Hashem.
Let's even go deeper. I believe that if somebody wants to have desires is one thing, but if he does it in something which is Gilui Arayot, he wants to make a statement. What's the statement? I want a different way. I don't want to be a Jew anymore. I want my way. This called when a person doesn't want to continue with the mission. This is basically Tisha B'Av. Hashem tell them, go to Israel. What they say? We don't go to Israel. We want to stay in the desert. But this is the first temple. What is the idea of all this there? I want my way. You told me Torah, Ten Commandments, I don't care. But this happened in the first temple. The second temple, and everybody agreed that the second temple is even more difficult than the first one. Omeret HaGemara, the second temple, there was Torah and Gemilut Chasadim and Yirat Shamayim. What was the problem? That it's even better, that it's even worse than the first temple. What? She say, we are Jewish people, we are religious people, but we are not connected to the right and wrong in life. What is the case in this young person? The Kohen come, in Bet HaMikdash, they are walking, everybody is holy, his son wants to make a mitzvah, so he's stabbed. So suddenly, he's religious, he's Jewish, so he's observant, but he lost right and wrong. He lost priorities. He's lost. But he's religious.
It's the same concept. He wants to be better.
No. When you are not religious and you say, I don't want to be religious, then you get in your head something, okay, I understand I'm wrong. But when you are religious and you're wrong, when you become more religious, you become more wrong.
So you get bigger on the head again, so the same.
No, but he's religious. Where is he? In Bet HaMikdash. What he's doing? Volunteering. What he's doing? He's a holy. Everything is... The second temple, the problem is that it go inside. It's not somebody that is going to, from the street, that is somebody come to you with dressing and say, I'm not religious, I'm against it. This, he come and he looks religious and he behave religious. In Bet HaMikdash, he's in the temple. But he's totally messed up. No direction. Religion without direction. This is the most difficult case that I have with people. But he's religious, but no direction. No way of Torah. No, don't follow the direction. And I see in my community, those are religious. What's been religious? He wears kippah and she wears, she covers the hair and she goes to mikveh and the kids go to yeshivot and they eat Chalav Israel. But because in the house there is no direction, it goes down and down and down. It doesn't matter who you are, how religious you are. This is the second temple. Why it's so dangerous? Because from the outside, it looks good. Better, glad. And everything is the Shem Shamayim. In a second temple, why they kill each other?
To do mitzvah.
To do mitzvah. I am going to save by killing you. I am going to do by killing you. Say, but why to kill? And why it's so difficult? Because it continues until today. Now, as I told you on Tisha B'Av, how do we start the Megillah of Tisha B'Av? Eicha. Eicha. Eicha comes from the Hashem tell to Adam HaRishon Ayeka. Where are you going to? What do you want to do? Eating. What is the? What's the agenda? What do you want? Say, I don't know. I'm just hiding myself. Now, people become religious. People become Kohanim. People become Bet HaMikdash. But now there is the ego. I will make the mitzvah, not you. I am stronger than you. I am more religious than you. I am more tzaddik than you. You are nothing. And then we are going to put labels on each other. Then we are going to make, you are right and I am wrong, and you are Sfaradi and I am Ashkenazi, and you are Hasidi and I am Litai, and you are Shasavzi and I am Smarkani, and you are Bukharian and I am this, and you are going to put all kind of labels, because it's me against you. But all of us, we are Jewish people, under God, indivisible and Tagdali, but messed up in their mind totally. And in the last 2,000 years, that's what we are facing. Why I believe that this is the danger, what Rabban Gamliel understood, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai understood, because I tell you something, there is today I saw it, it's a beautiful Gemara in Masechet Brachot. The Gemara says that in Yavne, when Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai left with all the rabbis, they put an old ad in the entrance. Meragla befumaya de Rabbanan. They put the motto of this yeshiva. This yeshiva is coming as a result of what? The destruction of the second temple. What's written over there? Listen. What you will understand should written over there? Tishmeru Shabbat, Tishmeru Kashrut, and this, and Chalav Israel. If not, you're going to be hanged, and this, and you're going to be steak and kebab, and all these metaphors that you like to use. No. אז הוא אומר ככה, what did they say? I am a human being, and my friend is a human being. Very interesting news, you know. You and your friend are human beings. You are not the superior and he's the second sword, the second level person, or you are the second. You are both human beings. They say Bria over here is even better. I live in the city, and he lives in the field. I wake up early to my work, and he goes to his work. What's the over here? What's yeshiva, Rabban Gamliel? What is this? He goes to work. What is the? כשם שהוא אינו מתגדר במלאכתי כך אני מתגבר במלאכתו. He is doing what he has to do, and I am doing what I have to do. ושמא תאמר, אני מרבה והוא ממעיט, if you say that I am better than him, and he is better than me, he learns more than me, he works, he doesn't learn, I learn and don't work, and who is better, who is not better, who is good, who is bad, who is number one, who is number two, who is more important, who is less important? Shaninu, I am teaching you the motto of Yeshivat Yavne. אחד המרבה ואחד הממעיט. והעיקר בלבד שיכוון ליבו בשמיים. One thing, I am not judging you. How long is your coat? And how many times you're going to, what is the color of your hat? And how many times, and when did you come, what did you do? Do your best, and I'll do my best. And העיקר שיכוון ליבו לאביו שבשמיים. Do it for the purpose of הקדוש ברוך הוא. Stop, judge, compare, who is what, who is better, who is worse. This rabbi, this. Don't do it. I don't ask you to do it. Now tell me, what is this motto is teaching us? What was wrong that they want to fix it? It was wrong because in Beit HaMikdash, the second Beit HaMikdash was, I am more religious than you. Therefore, you lost the right to live. Therefore, I can hate you. I can abuse you. He asked the Kohen, why you stabbed your friend? It's my mitzvah. He is not... he's not like me, you know. So if he's against me, I have to do what all the means to protect myself. But why to kill him? Because what can I do? He was too strong, you know. He was too firm. He has to give up. And if you will give up, what will happen? unheard of. It's impossible, you know. Me, you know who I am. You understand why the second temple is more complicated than the first temple? Because if somebody comes to you and he's lost, okay, I'm lost. But in the second temple, he comes to you when he's more religious than you.
I'm more lost than you.
And he's using his religion, what he claimed religion, as something to separate, to
No, it's
justify.
like he covers himself up under the religion by thinking that he's so religious. I mean, if he kills a person and thinking that he's that religious, how is that
Now I'll tell you.
the shame of God?
Now I'll tell you why I'm following you all this year with Rabbi Tzadok. Rabbi Tzadok, after the destruction of the temple, the doctors healed him, and he lived for many years next to, in the city of Tivon, and used to come to Yavne to teach them, to ask them, and many times he gave them what he remembers from Bet HaMikdash. Very, very respectable rabbi, old person, tzaddik. When in Pirkei Avot, Rabbi Tzadok is talking, and he say, what is the motto of his life? What he understood. Pirkei Avot, it's not just what I say, what I feel, what I learn. You say the pasuk that you think it belongs to. What do you feel? You lived for 100 years. What did you learn? Once I went to the hospital, one of our old people, he was about to die, 100 years old. His name is Chaim, was Chaim, very, very important person. I told him, Melo Chaim, you saw all the world. You were very rich, children, powerful, influence, observant Jew. Tell me, I am a young rabbi. Tell me, what is the one sentence, what is the motto of life that you understood? Try to summarize your life for one sentence. Very big mission, you know, to stay. He said, no, Rabbi, it's very easy because I thought about it many years. So I give you a free translation from Bukharian. You know, it's even though Bukharian it sounds sweeter, but I did a translation. He says, if you ask me what is all the life is all about, if you are doing good to somebody else, you're helping yourself. If you harm somebody else, you harm yourself. This is what I learned in my life. This is the motto of his life. He gave me 100 years of short summarize. So, Rabbi Tzadok, they ask him, Rabbi Tzadok, so what his life is all about? Tell us. What he's telling them? Al ta'asem atara להתגדל בה ולא קרדום לחפור בה. And I will explain. You learn Torah, don't think that because you become a learner of Torah, you are already the prince and the holy. It's not, you didn't learn to elevate your, Baruch Hashem, your esteemed ego to all kind of record level. ולא קרדום לחפור בה is not a source of power, of influence. You learn for yourself. You understand? What bothers him or what he sees all the time? When he was in Beit HaMikdash, when this happened, and he saw the destruction, and he was 40 years fasting. Why? Because instead of when become more holy, to understand that we have to live together, they used the religion as a tool to kill each other.
The wrong direction, the opposite direction.
The wrong direction. But when you call them, they say, we. He is wrong. And there is a beautiful Gemara in Masechet Yevamot. Even though the Gemara goes a different direction, I think the Pshat is, as the Mishnah says, is that Bet Hillel and Bet Shammai is a whole list. Whom you're allowed to marry, you're not allowed to marry. And there are all kinds of differences. There are a few things that by Bet Shammai the child is mamzer, by Bet Hillel is kosher. Sometimes Bet Hillel the child is mamzer, but it's kosher. And if somebody is mamzer, you cannot marry him. אומרת המשנה, במסכת יבמות, the beginning, אף על פי שאלו אוסרים ואלו מתירים, לא נמנעו בית שמאי מלשאת נשים מבית הלל, ולא בית הלל מבית שמאי. The rabbi says, okay, your rabbi approved it, you are my friend. According to me, is mamzer. אומרת הגמרא, they told him, but you cannot tell so many generations, you know, nobody can remember everything. Why? Your rabbi says, okay, I disagree with him, it doesn't mean anything. He will follow your way. This is when if you really want to understand what is the fixing of the Beit HaMikdash, the idea that we are not separate, we are together. Now let's go to Tu B'Av. This was the question. What is the beauty of Tu B'Av? No tribes anymore, one Israel. Connection. No boundaries, open. Do whatever you want, it's open. נכון? Somebody wants to get married. When is he getting married? In Tu B'Av. Getting married. The rich man, the poor man, the smart man, the holy man, the big brands name, the noble families. But you are one, you are Am Yisrael. This what makes Tu B'Av is the fixing of Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av was the opposite. Lack of direction, lack of communication. Tu B'Av is the opposite.
Should they pick up another day to balance it?
Yes. And it's 1 week after Tu B'Av. It's like Yom Tov. First day and the last day. And Chol HaMoed now, we are in Chol HaMoed. Today in the afternoon I was very happy. The Sfaradim, we say Tzidkatcha in Mincha. And there are few Hasidim, because they say it's going to be holiday, they don't say. So somebody didn't say, they say, I like nobody argued. You say, you don't say, העיקר שלא תריבו. I didn't, so they asked what do you say? I say, if you're happy, I'm happy, what do you say? The main important was, because I remember going to synagogues, to say or not to say, they start to argue. Oh, and I know and you know, I remember once I was in a synagogue and there was a question, if to say, לא עלינו, בבית האבל, אם say, במה מדליקין או לא במה מדליקין, if there is avel in the synagogue, and there was a whole thing, and it was two avelut in this day, לא עלינו. Somebody dies and they start to argue. Oh, and I know, and you know, my father was a rabbi, my grandfather was a gabbai, tzaddik, and they started to argue. ברוך השם, אמרתי, לא הבנתם כלום. But in our suit, ברוך השם, in this mincha, the Mashiach could come. They didn't argue, but ברוך השם, they learned something. You won't say, don't say. Allah, next. And when Bnei Israel were going outside to find the shidduch, everybody is wearing white, and nobody is wearing better than the others. They are exchanging their dresses, because everybody is one. Everybody is together. And when you are together, the next minute the Mashiach should come. Beit HaMikdash is ready in heaven. The Mashiach is ready. Hashem is just waiting for us to come to the spirit of Tu B'Av. What's mean Tu B'Av? I am Shomer Mitzvot, God bless me. He is not so religious, God bless him. I try to help him, I try to find, but because his rabbi is like this and my rabbi, and so everybody, you know, has his own views and argue. So don't think, don't argue, don't this, no. Just do as much as you can, and that's all. And then I can promise you, the Mashiach is going to be here sooner than we think. שבוע טוב. רבי חנן בן הקשה אומר